Welcome into the Ohio State Football Report. Tom Downey here once again. Coming up on today's show, the latest on the recruiting side for the Ohio State football program. A few commitments set to come this week, and we will see if the Buckeyes can jump up at all in the current top 2026 recruiting classes. Again, this is the 24/7 Sports Composite Rankings. The Buckeyes were briefly as high as number 2, and then Georgia, A&M, Notre Dame all got a bunch of commits. Bama got a bunch of 5 stars. Ohio State currently sitting at number 6, and top 7, maybe top 8. There's a bit of a tier gap, frankly, in the quality and quantity of those commitments. So first question of the day, then in-depth on a few different recruits. Where will the Buckeyes end up finishing in the recruiting rankings? Let me know in the comments section of today's show. Let's go to 5-star interior offensive lineman Darius Gray. He has dropped his final 5 schools. The commitment date still very much to be determined, but the Buckeyes have made the cut with some in-season visits planned for Gray for probably all 5 of these teams since the official visit rules have tweaked and changed. Clemson, LSU, Ohio State, South Carolina, and Tennessee. The one common thread for 4 of those teams, SEC programs back down south. The Buckeyes are the outlier there. That does not mean they are on the outside looking in of that final 5. I think this is very much an open battle as of this moment. Here's what Gray said overall on setting his final 5 in a conversation with 24/7 Sports. Came down to relationships, somewhere I could see myself playing for the rest of my college career. Honestly, it was the main thing of what they all bring to the table. The boxes then all checked. The expectation here is that Gray won't commit until after his senior season of high school. This will allow him to do some in-season visits to these programs, maybe get some better feel for everything overall. But the Buckeyes are in the mix. They are in the conversation here. Gray saying, quote, Ohio State is great. You have a lot of different things. You have the game. There is no bigger rivalry. You have a great coach and O-line coach Tyler Bowen, who, by the way, he did have a good relationship with because he's from Virginia originally before the Hokies lost their past coordinator to the Buckeyes. And he said on Gray, you have to have a great head coach who wants to fight for all of his players. I think that is a big thing. If your head coach is going to fight for you, you definitely want to fight for him. It boosts your playing style because of the guy you are playing for. Intentional or not, that reminds me a lot of CFB 26, that particular line. Gray is out of Virginia, so again, he has that kind of pre-existing relationship with Tyler Bowen, who was at Virginia Tech. 24th ranked overall player in the 24/7 Sports Composite Rankings. Number 2 interior offensive. Buckeyes got room for probably one more interior guy, one more offensive lineman in general, and they'd make room for a 5-star in Gray. So predictions. Then we'll get to some more recruits. Will the Buckeyes end up landing Gray when it comes time to commit and, of course, sign? Pin comments on today's show, so go vote. Y for yes, N for no. Let's move to Jerquaden Guilford. He had rescheduled his commitment because that was a whirlwind event. We'll recap, by the way. Friday, July 18th is the upcoming commitment for Guilford. We'll see if it's the Buckeyes or probably Ole Miss. There are 4 finalists for Guilford. Ole Miss, Ohio State, the in-state program, Indiana, and then one of the other big local programs, that team up north. It does still sound like it's Ohio State and Ole Miss for the one-time Penn State commit with the Nittany Lions. Not really in the conversation here at all. Who ends up landing him? R for the Rebels, Ole Miss. B for the Buckeyes of Ohio State. We'll get into this more in depth. I don't have a great feel for what this ends up being. I do think the Buckeyes have a shot to land him. And, if you had asked me 2 days before the original schedule, like, he's a Buckeye. They've been after him. Brian Hartline wants him. He doesn't miss on those guys. There's been a lot of back and forth since then where it felt like, the benefit of hindsight now, looked like it was going to be an Ole Miss commitment that day, and then he kind of backed off and didn't make up his mind, and the Buckeyes closed the gap. What was the delayed commitment? A good thing, a bad thing, a bit of both thing for Ohio State. Guilford is not the most highly touted recruit. He's only a 3-star. He's 447 overall. But I do think it's worth trusting, hey, Ole Miss wants him. Ohio State wants him. He's committed to Penn State. Michigan has interest. That should probably indicate he's a little bit lower ranked than he should be on the composite rankings. He is, by the way, the number 2 player in the state of Indiana. So in this case, Ole Miss is the outlier because that is nowhere near Indiana. Let's head back to another 5-star. Derrek Cooper is set to commit on Sunday, July 20th in the evening. Ohio State is technically in the mix. They are one of his finalists here. There are 5 programs that Cooper has named as his finalists before he ends up committing in alphabetical order: Florida State, Georgia, Miami, Ohio State, and Texas. I don't think the Buckeyes are fully out of it. But as we'll get into, despite some positive praise from Cooper, I don't know if he's viewed as the favorite, or if they're viewed as the favorite there. Asked by, I think it was 24/7 Sports. Yes, them. What I liked about Ohio State? Said I feel great about Ohio State. The running backs coach, Ryan Day, good coaches. I like how they use Trayvon Henderson in the passing game. I think if you're ranking those 5 finalists for the 5-star recruit, 31st overall, listed as an athlete, by the way, but he'll play, I think all the teams looking at him as a back. His comment about Florida State was just, I liked the coaches, and he had nothing else to add. Kind of feel like Florida State's 5th. I wonder if the Buckeyes end up being 4th here as of right now. We'll talk about Texas, Georgia, Miami have long been after him. I'm not going to put it at 0, but this might be like a 10 or 15% chance the Buckeyes come through. But then again, if you'd asked me, 2 days before he committed, what's the chance Felix Ojo goes to Texas Tech? I would have said 0. He's not even a finalist. And then he went there. So, with that in mind, what is the percent chance the Buckeyes end up landing Derrek Cooper? Let me know in the comments of today's show. I think the Buckeyes would love to land him. He's a 5-star. You want 5 stars. They like him. They got an offer. They're in the finalist lists. They are not the favorites here. And I think there's a couple teams to monitor. First off, Georgia and Miami have always been kind of viewed as the favorites. That Georgia's done a good job on the NIL side, but the local allure and the NIL of Miami has been a factor. And the last 2 days, give or take, somewhere in that ballpark, Texas has very much emerged as a team that is pushing on, because they missed on some other backs, and they've kind of now repivoted to Cooper, and that program's got unlimited NIL funds. And the Texas Rivals account on 3 site was reporting this is an NIL battle, and they think Texas has a chance to do that, but Georgia's got money. Miami's got money. Are the Buckeyes going to spend for a running back? They already have a couple good ones in the pipeline. Probably not. So worth monitoring, but my expectations are this is not what ends up happening for Ohio State. We will have more recruiting updates for you all off-season, in-season long, so do not miss out. Hit that sub button right now, youtube.com/GoBucks. Free videos right here. Before we go, put it on as a community post. 4-star edge OSU target Kevin, a.k.a. KJ Ford, did pick Florida late last week. And this one was weird and chaotic down the stretch in pretty unusual fashion, even if it is the Wild West over it with the NIL era. There was a prediction for Alabama where the post reporting was Ford reached out to Bama to try to make something work, and then they couldn't make it work, so it ended up going back to Florida. And I don't know if what was true, what was not true, or if this was Bama raised the offer, then Florida raised the offer. Florida ends up landing him. And this was one of the top edge recruits still on the board for Ohio State that's uncommitted. That's not, Jake Krull's going to go to Oklahoma, it sounds like. Some Texas buzz there, but it doesn't like OSU's going to end up getting him. So overall, as I've said before, that edge spot, with some misses in recent years for Larry Johnson and company up front, I worry about that. There's been too many misses. Like, you went hard after all these different recruits, and you couldn't quite land them. And I get not wanting to break the bank in a way that, USC was fully able to break the bank. So I do wonder if a flip could be in play for the Buckeyes. And maybe we'll do a full video on that in the future of just trying to figure out, because they got to get at least one more edge, unless they want to really on the transfer portal, which you never know who's going to be in there, and then you're still paying. So I'm going to keep an eye on the edge recruiting for the Buckeyes, because I just don't like the spot it's currently in.